Attention gamers. When you play ADC in League of Legends, one of two things typically happens. Either the game ends with you playing right-click simulator and laughing at any scrubs who have to use spells to burst down their enemies, or more commonly you get a first-time autofilled support which for obvious reasons results in you being 6 levels behind the enemy solo laners, which means your ass is grass and all 5 people on the other team brought their lawnmowers. Now if you are new here, I have been on a mission to find the best way to make the first scenario happen more often, trying all kinds of weird approaches while seemingly avoiding the one strategy that would actually work. So for my next attempt at distracting myself from my own incompetence, I have decided to stick to my ADC roots and take them mid with the mentality that full lethality will turn my enemy into Mr. Fatality. And I have to say, sipping out of the solo lane XP cup had very arousing effects on my robotic wiener, not to mention I didn't have to deal with the possibility of babysitting a support who quite possibly is playing the game on an Etch-a-Sketch. And in both games, I had an experience that was nothing short of
legendary.
So if you are excited to see someone with a bot lane complex take his pool of ADC champs mid and prove that we can thrive in a solo lane, please kindly slap that upward thumb button silly and subscribe for more. For the runes I went Hail of Blades to give me little bursts of excitement every time I touch an enemy, and sudden impact pairs well with playing any hopping horn dog. Then while these normal kids are collecting baseball cards and action figures, I am over here gathering a bucket of eyeballs, and finally I take the Heal Boy rune to help sustain through the pain. Then because League is a team game and your co-workers will be sure to feed like bird seed if you don't babysit them constantly, I spec straight movement speed for my off tree. The game starts off against this giant old crusty piece of cat litter who has hopped on the bandwagon of slapping a wizard hat on that bonehead for the sole purpose of being a douche when your ult is up and being totally useless outside of that. So I welcome him aboard the pain train with a quick game of Minesweeper the Moron to collect the first kill. But things take a bad turn when I see my bot lane has gotten off to a start that makes me think their anuses will be inverted and hung out to dry in a few minutes if I don't help them. So I come down and reveal the troll patrol before putting it in reverse and running into walking kitty litter shit, so I do a drag and drop by only to realize that the enemy team actually communicates with each other while my bot laners are busy inspecting each other's gooch freckles, which results in my attempted roam sending me home. So I try my luck up top to tell this ogre that using a translucent squid as a glove is considered animal abuse, and this little elf will be putting her on the naughty list as I hit her with a classic ult launch and long range auto for the kill. Then I come back mid just in time to see the moldy milk rock piecing out, so I give him a nice to go package knowing he won't get by security with a ticking time bomb on his head. And my plan works when Tommy Tiptoes gives him his fourth and final warning that this behavior won't be tolerated, as my Cyan jungle proves that his pick is viable as long as you don't flash into freaking bear traps as a fat catfish gets to the center of that dumbass lollipop. So I run in to make sure that no player named Brick Poops on Kids gets away with licking my teammates when there are deadly flus going around. But my bot lane just can't resist getting themselves stuck in unwinnable situations, so I text my jungler and tell him that I saw some troll tapping his girl, which is enough to set him off, and I jump in to film the rampage before telling this top-hatted hottie that roaming around all alone isn't safe. Then I am just trying to smash this stone bodyguard, but of course the pussy posse arrives, and if you guessed that the bulldozing butt muncher attempts to play his only card, you were right, but little does he know I have the words kite fight and Becky was here tattooed on my ass as my itsy bitsy and turns arrive in time to learn how to bang a boulder before I hit a front flip dismount away from danger. But I am not going to let Tentacle Tina get away with failing miserably at tower diving my ass, so I come back to show why Riot can't balance the game when ADCs aren't 4 levels behind everyone else, so they brainwash us into thinking being bot lane and useless is just the meta. But you can't fool us forever, you tit lickers. A few minutes later in Blue Tiki Hut, Humphrey invites my jungler to play show and tell in the bushes and asks if he has ever seen a walking piece of cat shit. Cyan says no, but have you ever seen an angry Christmas elf murder 2 morons as the spirit of a dead ox charges by? And it's safe to say we won that round of show and tell. Then to me, getting 2 kills up top means hurry and get objectives, but to the dumbasses wearing the same team uniform as me it means get overextended, as they would rather play Tickle the Tentacle instead of try and win the game. But luckily I am in the mood for the announcer lady to describe my performance in the bedroom with her as being
legendary.
But me, Tentacle Tina, and the spirit of Sumox's dead grandfather had a few loose ends to tie up, so we scheduled a quick follow-up meeting which went well, even though the dumb spectral bull showed up after we were already finished just like last time. Then I show up to the infamous Wyvern rave, but I am awkward around crowds, so I try to stay unnoticed as I rock out, and then I hop over to show Miss Miniskirt that 11-year-olds can't hang with teenagers before running away from this catfish who was taken off the tit too late in life, and now he has an oral fixation for putting things in his mouth just to spit them out and let them shit on him. I run bot for the 5th installment of Bail Out the Braindead Bull, which results in me being the victim of some catfish cannibalism, but I piss in his mouth till he lets me out and dies as I make like a nut and bolt. But I didn't get a job in Santa's factory by not being a team player, so I return with a right-click performance to be remembered. A local fisherman tips me off that the biggest fattest catfish typically live in Topside River, so I run up to see he wasn't lying, but the monster pukes a crab onto me, so I clean off and give myself a little pep talk before heading back in because I saw the plump pufferfish first, and I am not going to let some chubby cow in a crown steal my credit by catching it first. A minute later, and big surprise, my bot lane died trying to contest a ward that was about to expire on the opposite side of the map from any real objective, so I plop a simp summoner on the ground and wait for it to do its job. Sure enough, it calls in Ollie Oxenfree and his imaginary best friend as I come in to deliver the damage and launch the cat turd out of the arena so that I can have some alone time with the sexy sheriff. Our right clicks go on a date which ends in mine fucking hers, and then I hop in to plant a ticking Tommy on the moldy rock. He trophies and I decide to avoid being shown the AP ratio on his ult by just letting my bomb walk him home. Then I notice there is a standstill and slap fest going on, and my team's blacksmith is losing, but the sight of Santa's little helper is enough to scare those puppies shitless as I show why this troll's voodoo is straight doo-doo, and a battle horn summons grandpa's ghost as we try to make the fat fishy fly a few times before getting annoyed and murdering him instead. This concludes the first demonstration of why the mid-lane marksman meta is here, and since I didn't just get my ass beaten and eaten like a sloppy Joe, I was actually in the mood to keep playing this shitty game for once, and so I queued up a second. This one starts out with me 0 and 1 for reasons related to my mini-map and my eyeballs and the two of them refusing to work together. But I am a team player, so when I see Powdered Sugar Shen on a werewolf hunt, I come down to save the day, to which he thanks me by running up river and standing still like the debating jagoff he is as I fight for my life, but luckily he returns along with the simp from Sparta, and together we wave our streamers at these dead bitches. Then I receive word that my lane opponent accidentally caught herself on fire, so like a responsible adult I run in to make sure she is okay, but she has lost her mind as she describes the flames and the smoke dashing around like a total lunatic, so in an effort of pure self-defense I resort to backflip drop kicking her into tower and putting the crazed psychopath out of her misery. A giant bug IRL must have landed on the bottom right hand corner of my screen or something, because I actually glanced at the mini-map for once to see that there is some contestant over who gets the last scuttle crab leg for dinner, so I get my dove and we rub a dub in this shrub until True gets caught in a bad spot and then killed by my bird shot. Our bot lane birds would rather bang each other than get lane priority, so I spam ping for the hush puppies to hold on as the sky shits out a Spartan and we all ignore the dude in hopes of getting that sexy redhead's phone number, only to realize the ninja is alone trying to off himself, so I turn to make sure he puts me in his will, because word on the street is that rich bitch is worth 450 Gs. Then I see pretty pistols all alone under tower, so you already know that the birds are gathering around because they are down to take that pirate to Pound Town, so I come in and very methodically and intentionally AFK auto attack the tower instead of the enemy to let my ADC get the kill. Road trip up to the other side of the map and I am birded up and blind bush scouting like the king of the low IQ crew, which reveals dashy fire tits, but I hit a backflip bird whip to send flaming Felicia off flashing away before Valor hits a dove drop and I dart pop for some Gs. Once again the babe without a brain is dressed inappropriately and alone in an unsafe part of town, getting her pent-up aggression out on a pile of innocent midget employees, so I come in to inform her that unless she is capable of backflipping over walls, she is putting herself in a situation that will repetitively result in blacking out and waking up in Fountain. But somehow everyone except for the pinheaded pirate with the perky tits is worth shutdown gold, which just means my team has a case of the inting idiots, so I bird up and bumrush bot to say hey to levitating Aladdin. Valor takes care of his little spider babies as I let him purple suck me before we feed 2 birds with 1 pwn. I am just river rafting like a reckless rab as I turn the corner and reveal that feeding firebender who shits a shuriken then sneaks into a smoky donut, but the birds are all here and I promised them dinner, so I can't disappoint. Then I summon the love dove to show me some eligible singles in the area, and my options are some noob with his nunchucks or a banging ginger, so I swoop in and ask for her number, but she declines by trying to light my ass on fire, so we have to kill her instead. My stupid bird cousins that can't do anything right by themselves are off alone getting their feathers plucked, so I come flying in to send floating Aladdin back to Agrabah before a heart notification on the Mafia man shows me he wants some too. Then I bird up and call for an Uber to take me to the pirate's place to see if I can get her number this time, but she is still stubborn, so she gets slayed just in time for the smoke show featuring Professor Akali to pull off a play just about as good as his content, and then the White Knight comes in to clean up but gets hit with the peacock block. This is followed by a sequence of birdie bashes, with the busty bombshell being my first victim, and then Flaming Felicia playing a game of follow the feeding leader, which then results in my tracking down the witness in my last murder and making sure he is taken care of as well, before giving the bodacious Buccaneer one more burst for the boys. But this grew old, so it was time for me to play a new game that I like to call Peepee Creepy Bush Boy Says Bitch Surprise, and after the first round goes well I decide to launch a second because apparently red buff is the perfect bait for boneheads, and so that one went smoothly as well. And basically this process just kept repeating itself until I had 24 kills and an unwavering determination to get this dumb dime piece's digits, to the point where I was even willing to get fountain tapped to get one last look at her luscious and questionably inting ass as the curtains closed and the second proof pudding was served that lethality mid-lane marksman will be the meta soon. Huge shout out to the sugar daddies out there that put bowls of Chipotle in front of me and my wifey when we feel like eating, so y'all are the real homies. Also, the plan is to potentially start streaming and uploading to my second channel this week, so pay attention to that stuff, links in the description. Pet your dog, jerk your ween, buy my merch with new attention gamer designs, and brush your teeth tonight. Rav out.